from The Independent. MAGA loses its mind over MSNBC host Nicole Wallace's sickening comments about Trump honoring young cancer survivor. Quote, MSNBC should fire Nicole Wallace, disgusting far-right pundit, far-right pundit Charlie Kirk raged following Nicole Wallace's remarks. I agree. I don't get super angry all the time, but when I watch this clip of Nicole Wallace, do they not have the video? I legit got angry. I called her an effing witch. Let me pull the clip up. I honestly,
a witch who belongs in hell.
Okay, look. Let me tell you guys the story. Do you guys know the story of this 13-year-old kid? Why he was there?
Multiple surgeries for brain cancer, correct?
How did Trump find out about him?
I don't know.
He was being bullied. He was being made fun of and mocked in a viral video because he dressed in his little police officer uniform because he wanted to be a cop. He was made an honorary officer after surviving brain cancer, and a bunch of other young people started filming him and making fun of him. Like, what are you going to do? Arrest him? And they were like, they were bullying him. It wasn't super brutal or anything, but they were bullying him. And so that's my understanding. I saw this viral video. Someone had said this kid was getting bullied, and Trump decided to bring him here and honor him and say, don't let them get you down. We're going to make you a Secret Service agent. Rachel Maddow called Trump disgusting for it. And Nicole Wallace, this one really, really got me pissed off. And I called her an effing witch. So where's that video at?
Well, it was artful too how Trump, he went straight from DJ to RFK saying, hey, we want to reduce cancer rates. It was a brilliant transition. You think the Democrats would be behind it, a Kennedy and everything.
Listen to this from MSNBC.
But I think this was a lesson in finding one thing that you let yourself feel. And I let myself feel joy about DJ. And I hope he's alive for another, 95 years, right? And I hope he lives and the life he wants to live. He wants to be a cop. He knows what he wants to do. And maybe when you have childhood cancer, that crystallizes for you. And I hope he has a long life as a law enforcement officer. But I hope he never has to defend the United States Capitol against Donald Trump supporters. And if he does, I hope he isn't one of the 6 who loses his life to suicide. And I hope he isn't one who has to testify against the people who carried out acts of seditious conspiracy.
What a vile, disgusting witch. Holy crap, man. That was so past the line. And then Rachel Maddow chimed in. New York Post reports Nicole Wallace and Rachel Maddow blasted for politicizing Trump's honor of a 13-year-old cancer survivor, DJ Daniel, sick and twisted. So let's pull up the Rachel Maddow quote. Maddow bizarrely accused Trump of being disgusting for spotlighting DJ's heroic battle with the disease, for which the youngster had initially been warned would kill him in months. Quote, for the record, and this is disgusting, the president made a spectacle out of praising a young man who has thus far survived pediatric cancer, as if the president had something to do with that. Yo, kid was getting bullied because he wanted to be a cop. He had survived cancer. He wanted to be a cop. He still suffers issues from the numerous surgeries. He was giving interviews about this. And Rachel Maddow called Trump disgusting for honoring a child who survived brain cancer because he was getting bullied. These people are evil, man. They are zealous, cultist evil. This is insane. Have they no remorse? They only care about saying things that pander to their hive of scum and villainy.
I remember I saw that live too, because I wanted to see the liberal side of that. And when I watched it live, I couldn't believe it. I was like, how can you not be behind this? And what did you call it for the Republicans? It was bread from heaven?
Well, Frank Luntz called it manna from heaven for Republicans.
It was such a bad look.
But it's funny because that's like why moments like that are curated parts of a speech.
Yeah.
So that you can anticipate their reaction. And they gave Trump exactly what he wanted.
Yeah, but so
they're playing into his hand.
I somewhat agree because Trump knows the Democrats well. That's true.
He said, even if I came up with the cure for cancer, you wouldn't cheer and clap for me.
Yep. And Trump knows, and we all know them, but he didn't force him to do it. This could have been a layup for Democrats.
Right.
Yeah.
Democrats could have been magnanimous. They could have stood up and cheered for the child, and then afterwards said that they could have been reasonable, moderate on any of these issues. They could have said balancing the budget, of course, is a good thing. The insane thing is that when Donald Trump says This young child survived brain cancer. What a strong little man. And the Democrats just sit there stone-faced. It's like, dude, you are robots.
I think the one point at which they actually clapped was in order to cut Trump off mid-sentence when he said something about funding Ukraine. They were like, yes, yes, we did. Yes, we did send them billions of dollars, so that he wouldn't have a chance to finish the sentence.
Probably, but I do.
Smarmy. And then the rest of the time they're staring at their phones, pretending to fall asleep, and holding up stupid signs like they never grew past like student council. That's like, it's student council teacher's pet energy.
To be fair, some of them also stormed out in protest, and we only found out because they told us.
Yeah. I mean, this kind of falls in line with the thing that we've talked about before, which is if the Democrats would have been complimentary to Donald Trump in 2016 when he first got in, they could have had anything they wanted. He is a deal maker. He would have done all kinds of things. I personally think that Donald Trump is more concerned with the way people treat him and with people liking him. So I think that he would have been significantly more inclined to do whatever they wanted if they'd have treated him nice, if they'd have, kissed his butt a little bit, treated him like the president. They'd have got whatever they want. But the thing is, they can't do that because they have it in their imagination. And I think this is because once Barack Obama was elected, the Democrats kind of felt like they reached an end of history point. Well, now from here on out, it's going to be Democrats forever. The Republicans are going to be a marginalized party that'll be, a small opposition. They'll be a regional party. They're not going to actually ever get into positions of authority again. That obviously proved to be not true. And so they freaked out because the left freaks out whenever they lose any institution, any amount of political power. They drop the ball and they can't do anything other than just be against whatever Donald Trump says.
Yeah, and Donald Trump has said he wants to reach out his hand and bring the other aisle in, and they keep slapping his hand down and saying no. And it's unbelievable. But watching Rachel Maddow in this situation too, when this was live, Rachel Maddow was fuming with anger about the speech, saying there were so many fact check mistakes that she could not list them all in one show.
Which means
isn't that convenient? There are so many fact check mistakes. I just can't even address any of them. That's real convenient. Now,
look,
I mean, whatever they have, whatever these people have is incurable. And and they truly are of a reprobate mind, because I think they have a spiritual problem. They have a spiritual bankruptcy among them. It's not something to do with their party affiliation. There are plenty of Democrats who would never act that way.
I completely agree. I was having a conversation about this earlier, and we talked a little bit about it before the show. But I think that this is not of all atheists or agnostics or whatever, but I think when an individual lives only in their own existence, when they don't care about others around them and how others feel, and when they don't care about, there's a couple ways you can phrase this, either God's will or the structure of the universe and our place in it is one way to phrase it for those that are secular. These people live entirely in the self-gratification universe. The only thing that matters is they get what they want. They get self-gratification. They get to party, wake up at 6 a.m. I'll keep it family friendly, but everyone knows what Chelsea Handler said. And I think the reason why you see right now in the culture war, largely Christians, are on the right advocating for things that I would describe it as this. Liberals advocate for a lifestyle that is destructive to the ends of civilization. And currently the right as a whole, largely Christian, is advocating for things that are protective and expansive to creation. And I think the component is, the question you ask yourself is, do you consider, when you take actions, your place in the world and what the world is and does? For Christians, the question is actually much more simple. Are you adhering to God's will? I think liberals are absent of that largely.
Yeah, well, because the core idea of Christianity and Catholicism is taking yourself off the throne of life and putting God there. And that changes how you organize your entire life. Self is not the top priority, whereas when you see the liberals, that is their top priority for the most part. I
think that's better said. Much simpler than I put it. Do you consider yourself, or do you consider everything else?
But it's weird because everyone circulates that heat map meme where you see liberals have an out-group bias and their last priority is people who are related to them or people who are in their community. Their first priority in terms of care and concern is people on the other side of the planet, basically any marginalized group. And that heat map goes around. And then J.D. Vance was also referring to it in terms of Ordo Amoris, the order of loves. And what is properly ordered is that you first prioritize your family, and then you go to friends, larger community, society as a whole, your nation, and then the rest of the world. The rest of the world can wait.
I have a correction for you, and it only makes your point better. There's the graph, which shows liberals have an outgroup preference, but the heat map you're referring to shows that Democrats' first order, their first priority is inert objects, not even other people.
And those objects being
rocks, trees, and dirt.
Yeah.
I probably, but no, in all seriousness, the issue of what do you care about, and I mean care in the literal sense of what do you want to protect, what do you want to have flourish. Among conservatives, it is myself, my friends, my family, and the order of things as you described it. Among liberals, it's the national park, it's the trees, it's the rivers. They choose inert objects like rocks and monuments, like not monuments, the opposite, but like rocks in a national park. Now, I got to be honest, I also deeply care about rocks and trees and all that stuff. But Jeremy Boring made a really great point on this show a couple years ago. He was saying that obviously we want to be good stewards of the earth, but everything is within the human perspective. If there are no humans, what are we protecting anything for? I mean, it is for the sake of humanity. And that is the order of what we care about. And it's a great point. I think liberals do not exist largely within a how do my actions play into the bigger scale of things. They're basically just wake up and I want to feel good.
I would wonder, do you think that liberals actually feel like what they do matters? And the reason I say this is because, you know, if you're a secular person, if you don't have any foundation in religion or anything at all, any kind of spirituality, and you think, well, you know, eventually the sun's just going to burn out and all the stars are going to burn out, so nothing I do actually matters. What's
That's
the
it.
point?
Yeah, what's
Yes,
the point?
exactly. They're nihilists.
Yeah.
We've had a couple of people on the show because obviously not everybody on the show is religious. We have actually quite a bit who are not. And one of our guests said he was completely atheist. And I think anybody who is completely atheist and unwilling to even have the philosophical conversation is misunderstanding what atheism means or the bigger picture. But he just said, nope, wet robots. And I'm like, that's it.
We recently talked about this on Pop Culture Crisis. There was this clip going around of Grimes talking about the decline of religion and how she thinks that's a bad thing, that killing God was a mistake. And someone replied to that and said, this is such a sociopathic self-report, basically meaning if you think that anyone's moral framework should derive from religion, you're admitting to the world that you're a sociopath because you should just be born knowing how to live and what's right and wrong. And this person is basically saying, I'm high-born and I was just innately created better than you religious people. I just know right from wrong inherently, you're low-born.
That's an incredible... no kidding around.
That's what they're saying.
That's an incredibly common perspective when it comes to atheists. Spending a lot of time in the music industry, a lot of people have that kind of opinion. They're like, they look down on people that have any kind of religion. They make the whole, the spaghetti monster in the sky comment and stuff. And it's like, religion has been with human beings forever. There's always been some kind of religion in every society ever studied, no matter how distant they are in time or space. There was religion, and it's likely that there was religion in other types of Homo sapiens, or not Homo sapiens, other types of like Neanderthal and other, if you believe in evolution, other types of hominids, right? So to think that it's useless or you can just decide you don't need that anymore in a generation or two, that's the stupid take.
Right.
It's something that's so deeply ingrained in human beings that you think you can just walk away from it because, look, I watch the Nature Channel, man. I got it all figured out. You're a moron.
Religion is the principal, how do I describe this? It is the indicator of and the proof of humans' higher thinking, in that the basis of religion, of the thought, is what exists beyond known reality. When you're asking questions about what exists and what is that we could not touch, smell, see, or hear, is what sets us apart from literally every other animal on the planet. That's where humans are just discernibly above.
Well said. I mean, Carl Jung said, with the death of God, there needs to be something else to replace that hole in the heart of man, because there's just something in us that draws us towards God. And if we don't have that, there's this chasm. And that's why I think so many of the liberals treat what they believe as almost a religion. You know?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.